they weren't lying when they said this movie was fucking insane. Today we are talking about the insane experimental cyberpunk nightmare fuel that is Tetsuo the Iron Man, directed by Shinya Tsukamoto in 1997. And it's one that's really well known and loved in the community, and I have to say it lived up to the expectations. Thank you to the woman who worked at the Aero table at Fantasia Film Festival, because she just looked at me and said, yep, this one you'll definitely love, and she was fucking right. So without further ado, let's go to a small synopsis of the film and then I'll talk about why this is fucking brilliant. This film starts on this very industrial road and already it looks very gritty, and the cinematography in black and white is promising. We see a man in an abandoned factory cut his legs to insert a metal tube. He is surrounded with pictures of athletes running, so we can assume that he does that to improve his running skills. And it works for a short while before he gets hit by a car. And on IMDb they say he's a metal fetishist, which, no judgment, but I'm just not sure what that is. Does it mean that he goes into steel factories to jerk his cock off, or he just really likes to come on metal? Either way, that's not my vibe. We then cut to a man shaving, and there's something growing out of his face. We later discover that he's the one who hit our metal fetishist at the beginning. We know that because on the phone, his girlfriend is like, "You've been really weird since that hit and run." Yes, lady, I would also be pretty weird after that because it's a fucking felony. He's your typical Japanese salaryman, so of course he starts his morning with the train, but he sits next to a woman and he just stares at her while she transforms into a robot/monster, and she becomes this very strange cyborg that runs after him in the subway station. He eventually hides in the bathroom, but she finds him pretty quickly. He's scared, but he still defends himself and stabs her. But that just makes it worse because she gets Hulk strengths and decides to kick his fucking ass. Until the film reminds us that this is experimental, and we cut to the guy in a random garage. You'll see a lot of usage of tools and metal work in this film. And during the review I'll say robot, but they're not really robots or cyborg, they're just these nightmarish creatures that grow metal parts out of their bodies. It's really hard to define, so I'll just use the easiest way and I'll just call them robots. But they're not really robots, they're more of a mix between zombies, cyborgs, and fucked up creatures that are just nightmare fuel. But he can't take too much of a breather because she comes up to the garage door and opens it. As they fight, he finally punches her and she falls down, and he decides to escape once again. Which is another aspect I love of this film. You're never sure if it's reality, a nightmare, or a mix of both. But his conscience is following him, and he slowly turns into a mechanical nightmare. We then see this very strange dream. He sees his girlfriend as this robotic stripper with tentacles made of metal, and he's naked on the floor in doggy style position. And then in typical Japanese fashion, the tentacles go where they're not supposed to, which I of course mean pegging. It's really difficult watching people on screen live out your fantasies. Are you a robot monster trying to murder me? No. Oh. Yep, she don't. He once again wakes up, but this is not just a nightmare. He starts to grow things out of his face and his feet are getting worse. I guess his girlfriend comes over and she doesn't have tentacle arms anymore, so they decide to have some sexy time. But sadly, his robotic nightmare condition is cock-blocking him. Kind of like a version of Whiskey Dick, but you're turning into a cyborg. But I guess she's used to this kind of things during sex, so afterwards they just eat dinner like nothing ever happened. However, it is a very sweaty dinner and the girlfriend acts really strange. Kind of just takes out his sausage and starts licking it, and this is not a euphemism, it's quite literal. And he gets very turned on by that, but you know, since he's becoming a robot, his cock is a giant drill. Which is probably the fourth time I've had cock monsters on this channel. It's kind of a recurring theme. And it also made me chuckle because I once was on this very Christian website called Chatterbait, and there was this very lovely young lady that had a drill with a literal dildo on it. And that was amazing. I wish I could show you that, but of course this is YouTube and I can't show you such beautiful works of art. He's of course ashamed of his new penis and he hides in the bathroom, but his girlfriend tries to reason with him and make him come out. But that turns against him as he tries to drill her. They fight a little, she burns him with a pan and stabs his leg to finally stab him in the neck, which I guess excites her because she starts licking the bloody face. But the problem is, he finds that very erotic and sexually, enthralling, so he gets hard, which turns very bad because his cock is a fucking drill. After murdering his girlfriend, he passes out, has this very strange nightmare where a man tells him he's fucked basically, and then he wakes up once again. He gets a call from the man he hit with his car. We see the perspective of the victim when he got into the car accident, and we can see that our main character didn't really care about him. He even had sex with his girlfriend while the man was just laying there, which is another level of horny. A level we can all aspire to be. Then we get the film's finale, which is probably half of the film and what the film is most known for. And it's this intense fight between the man who got hit by a car, who's also transforming into this cyberpunk nightmarish creature, and our man, who's also this cyberpunk nightmarish creature, and the effects and everything about the rest of the film is absolutely splendid and so masterfully crafted. It's a beautiful piece of cinema. The music just complements the intensity of this part and the visuals. This film is really all about the visuals, the stop motion effects, just the entire feel and atmosphere of this film is incredible. It's honestly, I'm gonna think about this for a long while. And I don't want to tell you everything because, like I said, this is an experience you must have. And I rarely say that, but honestly, if I would to have nightmares, it would be about this film. She's also gonna get nightmares. So yeah, absolutely, this was one of my favorite recent discoveries, and thank you to everyone who recommended me this. I posted a picture of the set on Instagram and I got like 6 responses telling me, holy fuck, yes, please review this film. So thank you to everyone, because I would have waited and I would have regretted it, because it's a masterpiece of Japanese cinema and just cinema in general. Anyways, I'm gonna go take care of this big baby and we'll see each other next time.